Vic Henley, everybody. Keep it going for Vic Henley. Let him hear it. Wow. You guys are an amazing crowd. I've been watching the show from backstage. You're incredible. Give yourselves a hand for coming out tonight. You're the most important people here. We tried this once without an audience. It fucking sucked. It's the worst. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. Another black comic. It's just the lighting. Yeah, trust me, just the lighting. Now, a lot of people say under certain lights, I look a lot like Dave Chappelle. Tell you how I look most like Dave Chappelle, with no lights at all. In total darkness, you can't tell us apart. No, the truth is, I do know what you're thinking. You're thinking if Phil Spector fucked Elton John, which could actually happen, by the way. Yeah, people think it's funny if you know what you look like. Want to know what you look like? Ask somebody else to describe you. But if you really want to know what you look like, ask a little kid to describe you. Trust me, you want to fucking kill yourself. I asked this little kid to describe me. He looked at me for a minute. He's like, if Phil Spector fucked Elton John. I was shocked. I'm like, you're a little kid. How do you know Phil Spector and Elton John? He's like, Google, bitch. Then he took it one step further. He said, you look like you wandered away from a rock concert in 1968 during a particularly intense acid trip. It's the last time I ask a little kid a question. Anyway, it feels good to be... It's funny, show business is the only business where you want people to laugh at your appearance, right? In the outside world, you'd be like, fuck you, Phil Spector and Elton John. Right? Crazy. Anyway, it feels good to be back on stage again, because I had gone back to my original job for a while, writing suicide notes. It's a good time to stand if you're in the mood for gay sex. That's okay, honey. You could stand. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with gay sex. And lately when I get bored, I'm going into Chinese restaurants. I ask for the manager, and I complain that my fortune didn't come true. And that goes over really big, about as well as it did with you people. Chinese is an interesting language. Not particularly sexy or romantic. You know, sometimes you'll hear a woman say they like a guy with a French accent, maybe an Italian accent, maybe a Spanish accent. You will never hear a woman say, when he speaks to me in that Chinese accent, I can't control myself. I get moist from that Chinese accent. Is it too late for moist or early for moist? No, too early for moist. No, it's 11 o'clock. You could say moist, right? Nothing wrong with moist. I had a girlfriend who was Chinese for a while. Well, actually, she was Chinese for a long time. She was just my girlfriend for a while. When she spoke Chinese to other Chinese people, it always sounded like she was yelling. Like there's a language that could use some silent letters. When I was a kid, I had a friend whose name was all silent letters. His entire name was silent letters. Whenever he didn't hear anything, he thought somebody was calling him. Spent his entire childhood running home to see what his mother wanted. It's a very sad story. Anyway, we have people here from out of town. I'm sure everybody asked, yeah, where are you from? Montreal. Okay, cool. I love Montreal. Big comedy festival in July. Montreal. Montreal rocks. Totally rocks. Absolutely. Where else are people from?
Ohio.
Ireland. Ireland is definitely out of town. You, my friend, are going to be very late for work in the morning. That's quite a trip to make every day. Every day comes in from Ireland. Unbelievable. No, I admire people who travel. That's why I ask, because when I travel, I have ADD, and traveling is very hard for me. When I travel, I'm always lost. So invariably, I'm asking people for directions, and invariably, I get a guy who says, well, you gotta go south for about 3 miles, and then you gotta go east for about 1.5 miles. I'm like, what the fuck? Do I look like I carry a compass? Why don't you just tell me the longitude and latitude, and I'll try and navigate by the stars? Because somewhere along the way, I must have misled you into thinking that I was a sea captain. When I stopped you for directions, did I accidentally say, ahoy, matey? Because I don't know north, south, east, and west. I know left and right. I always thought north was the way you're facing. If I'm going this way, that's north. And if I'm going this way, then that's north. And south is always behind me. Needless to say, I don't travel a lot. But I'll tell you, we come from all over the world, but we share similar traits in common. It's true. We share similar traits. Think about it. As people, we tend to exaggerate. Really, think about it. How many times have you gotten that call from a friend who tells you he was almost killed, but he wasn't even hurt? Almost killed. He has the balls to tell you he was almost killed, and he wasn't even hurt. And they all have this weird story to go along with it. You know, like, I was online at Bloomingdale's today, when out of nowhere, a herd of wildebeests suddenly appeared and trampled a guy right next to me. I'm like, holy shit, are you in the hospital? No, I'm fine. But 1 more inch and I would have been killed. Like, what the fuck are you exaggerating for? If you're going to tell people you're almost killed, at least have the decency to be severely injured. Or else it diminishes the severity of the story, right? It's like saying, I almost had sex with this chick last night. Really? How far'd you get? Well, I called her and she wasn't home. But if she had been home, I would have totally nailed her. Which is an incredibly romantic expression that had to be created by a guy. Because only a guy would be fucked up enough to compare the act of having sex with a woman to hammering a nail into a piece of wood. How tender and romantic. You'll hear that a lot around Valentine's Day, especially in Ireland, I hear. It's very popular there. No, you'll never hear 2 women use that expression. You'll never hear one girl say to another, how was your date last night? Great. Did he nail you? You never hear that. If you do hear that, change who you're hanging out with. It's not a good crowd. Tell you what else we exaggerate. We exaggerate how we got to the hospital. Everyone was always rushed to the hospital. There doesn't seem to be any other way to get there except to be rushed there. No one ever went to the hospital at a leisurely pace. You never hear anyone say, what happened to Bill? He was hurt in an accident and casually made his way over to the hospital. You just don't hear that. So I had a weird thing happen to me today. I got a postcard in the mail. A postcard. Is that still a valid form of communication for 2012? A postcard? It's like, who the fuck is sending postcards in 2012? What was your carrier pigeon sick? Yeah. Sending someone a postcard is like saying, I want to write to you, but not that much. Think about it. When's the last time you got an important postcard? You never see a guy running home all excited. Like, where you going? I just got this postcard from my girlfriend and I can't wait to read it. Well, fucking turn it over. It's all right there. It's not even in an envelope. The postman already read it. Everyone in the post office read it. You're the last fucking guy to see it. That's why they rarely send government secrets on a postcard. Postcards are usually mean anyway. All they say is, wish you were here. Well, if you wish I was there next time, fucking invite me. And don't send me a stupid fucking postcard. Anyway, let me leave you on this. Piercings are very popular these days. Any girls have any piercings that they're willing to admit to? In this big crowd, somebody's got to have some piercings. Nobody. Okay. Well, you know that some girls these days get their nipples pierced? And some girls, I can't believe this, but it's true, some girls even get their clit pierced. Can you believe that? You know how dangerous that is? You could chip a tooth. Say, what the fuck is that, a pearl in there? What's a pearl doing in there? I know it looks like a clam, but I didn't expect to find a pearl in there. Fucking weird. Weird. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of girls get their tongue pierced. They do. A lot of girls get their tongue pierced. They say that it increases the pleasure of oral sex for men. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I never remember myself thinking, gee, that feels great, but something's missing. If she only had a metal ball in her tongue, something sharp perhaps, or hot, anything uncomfortable at all. Personally, I'd be afraid to increase the pleasure of oral sex. If it got any better, I'm liable to pass out and miss the entire thing. And from what I understand, the ending is the best part. Well, it sounds like we have some fans of oral sex here. Raise your hand if you like oral sex. Sure, all guys. Now one girl has the balls to cop to liking oral sex. Where are all these guys finding out that they like it? What, are they blowing each other? There's got to be one girl doing it. Be proud, girls, if you like oral sex. It's an art form. That's why they call it performing oral sex. So the next time some guy gives you the opportunity, grab it. But not too hard. That shit's sensitive down there. Anyway, I'm Jeffrey Gurian. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to be your host for the rest of the evening. We have a really funny lineup for you. Coming to the stage, please put your hands together for Alex Edelman, everybody. Alex Edelman.